no tax on overtime and a half. One Big Beautiful Bill Act said overtly the words, no tax on overtime. Period, full stop. But on some pages, it's rather telling that it puts it in quotes. No tax on overtime. What that really means is individuals who received qualified overtime compensation between the years of 2025 and 2028 may deduct the pay that exceeds the regular rate of pay. You're paying the same taxes you would anyway. You're just working more hours. But anything above that, such as the half portion of time and a half, can be applied to not have taxes applied to it. What they said versus what they did. Now, immediately you're going to say the one big beautiful act Donald Trump and the Republicans pushed through. Well, it has to be the evil devil of the Democrats that you've been told to listen and believe about for I don't even know how many decades some of you have been listening to this bullshit. The Democrats went along with any tax break for the poor because they explicitly and overtly try to get that to happen. There are a few, we all know about them, by the way, on the Democrat side. There are a few Democrats that are dinos, Democrat in name only, just like rhinos or Republicans in name only exist. The dinos are just there to get money from big, powerful people and just tell you what you need to hear to get elected. And the Republicans in name only, rhinos, do what they're told by the rich and powerful to get money from them, and then tell all of everybody what they need to hear so that they'll vote for them. It's the same game. But screaming that it's communism or socialism to tax the rich, like was done years and years ago, which also happens to be exactly the same period of time a lot of you romanticize as the golden age of America. During the golden age of America, very rich people were taxed horrifically by some of your estimates because you have so much sympathy for these rich and powerful people. It sounds like you're echoing the sympathy that politicians have for whoever has the money that buys them. But yeah, you will get a small tax deduction if you work overtime. Now, if you have... I had a job that was literally mopping floors at one point. During the day and during the night, I was a computer geek. That's, don't quit your day job, be a hacker kind of thing. Did that for years. Until I stupidly became a professional hacker and then just a computer shop manager and then an owner because they couldn't pay my paycheck and ran away and the economy took a shit. And I was selling chunks of carpet to pay the rent that month. Managed to get enough to survive on until I couldn't find a job in the industry anymore that I was trained to do for over 20 years. So anyway, but I'm not bitter. I'm an acquired taste. So let's move on. Overtly telling you no tax on overtime, but no, it's a tax reduction of maybe 20 to 30% on your work. But if you had a union or had I argued a deal or negotiated a deal where if I work overtime, I get paid double. That would mean that half of my income at that point that I'd be working for, I would earn and keep. No taxes with this rule. Some people get paid triple overtime after a certain point, which means at that point you're only paying taxes on less than a third of it, let's say, or about a third of it, which would be the exact opposite of, But no, you were told no tax on overtime. It literally says that. By definition, that is a false statement. And it's followed by qualified and only the part that's above your normal pay, your regular rate of pay. To everybody who ever employed me, do you understand why I didn't do time and a half or overtime? Because all it would do would be, because if you're not aware of this, computer geek, all that kind of stuff, yeah. I did mostly manual labor the entire time I've been alive. I'm a poor ass person. I'm It doesn't matter what your brain can do if the economy won't hire you because they say you have to get a certification. That means you have to sign a contract with Microsoft Corporation that basically makes it where you can't do anything because they forbid you from doing things to fix the computer because they want to keep it in a perpetually slightly broken state so they can break into it. You're just, everybody's going to say paranoid. Okay, what happened recently? If you see this video in 5 years, that statement, what happened recently that proved to you that radicalized you against the computer industry and crypto and the police state? You really believe in a couple of years that this shit won't just be as bad or worse? Until smartphones were made so that you couldn't actually shut them off, I could legitimately tell people how to make their cell phones safe. You disconnect the battery. Then companies started making it impossible to pull the battery. Then I told them you can't have that phone and don't do the dancing monkey thing where you get to see something entertaining on the internet, but it's a virus. But hey, it's cute. Yeah, but it just stole your credit card. You have to be able to physically unplug and turn off everything. That's being called fake news by the current regime that wants you into Bitcoin. To all of the conservatives who are fuck around find out about this, it was explicitly written in copies of the statement if you looked it up. And people did videos about this. Now, well, why didn't the Democrats make noise? They did. You ignored it. Why did they go along with it? Because it gave some tax break to poor people. Because rich people don't do overtime and time and a half. Unless they're doing it as a shuck and jive thing to fake actually being real workers. They don't do that. Do you think Elon Musk does overtime and time and a half payments to himself? Well, maybe he does, but I guarantee you it's not going to be like you going and working, at a restaurant or managing, all the work that it takes to run a fucking forklift. You're not the same people. You're not allowed to be. Imager gallery that ends in VVX. 4chan, the person who started it or was running it, and later on people who ran it as well under poll for politically incorrect that was created at a certain point, and QAnon that was created by the people running 4chan and 8kun. Influenced by, spelled B-U-Y, Epstein. Every accusation is a confession. You might have seen that on the internet. Now, I'm going to point this out. We told you so. Yeah. I'm going to use words that, as of a couple of months ago, YouTube would flag me for, but they apparently won't do it anymore, right? Until they have to because they're pushed to do it. Pizzagate was a lie. The whole damn thing. Yeah, but no. Stop. Who financed it? Who pushed it? The Republican side. But claim to me that the Democrats came up with that bullshit story. Do it. These files have been archived. These files can be picked up. A lot like your tax code data, you could have just read it. I saw it on Reddit. Some of you will find people vehemently saying the same shit from a decade ago, right? And you can demand that the admin, if you all vote for it on a lot of boards, disclose the IP address's origin. It might be a proxy system. It might be a VPN. It might be overtly telling you it's coming out of Russia or some other country. Actually, at this point, there's enough countries involved that it doesn't really matter. Is it from the United States? People in the United States saying it. Probably. Are you one of those people who goes up and white knights the dark side? Are you one of those people still? Some of you are. It's your entire personality. Yes? The accusations people make sometimes are knee-jerk reactions to what they see in themselves. They're screaming in a mirror. Sometimes they're yelling their worst nightmare, because it's not a nightmare. It's a terrible fantasy they have about what they want to do to other people. So let's go through this really quickly here. Roll the clock back as many decades as you have to and look up every single accusation created to talk shit about another group. You can look up, if you want to look up, the original version of the Bible before a translation was done in a particular year, very recently, where various people decided to reinterpret the word to include a word that wasn't used before, so that they could say it wasn't about older people exploiting younger people by making them work like slaves. Literally, something in the Bible about not turning freemen into enslaved masses. But that was changed into, because it was men making young boys, child labor, it turned into a presumption that it was them doing it a different way, and then using a new word that wasn't in the original. Do you understand that? Okay, let's try some other groups. Screaming at socialists and communists. You keep screaming it. Keep screaming it. Okay, good. If you actually read what they want to do versus what actually happens in many of these countries, I understand that. I mean, China and North Korea are not something to be going towards. Oh, wait a minute. Some of you are now deciding that they're right. Okay, let's try another one. What other groups are demonized? Anybody outside of the group you seem to think you're part of. Do you really think that you're part of the elites running, the elite cabal running this conspiracy that's actually happening in real time and has been for decades? Do you really believe that you're anything to do with it other than the cattle and the sheep that are bleeding their stupid votes because you're told what to think and say? I'm sure the Democrats are treated the same way. I don't have any doubt of this. But the point is that, were you told lies? The majority of Democrats, when they make an assertion, if you fact check them, and I spent years doing this, and denigrating everyone that lied, the majority of them don't actually fucking lie. I know you might not want to hear it, but that really is it. The majority of individuals won't lie. And the majority of the time, even the ones that we catch lying, do actually expend a bunch of effort telling the truth most of the time, because they're trying to mask the times they're lying because they got paid off. This is not found in the Republican Party among some individuals. If they start lying, they always keep doing it. It's a tendency. Or they're actively doing it because they enjoy it. They like the power. There's going to be a FEMA camp thing because of Obama. Literally never fucking happened. FEMA trains, which is a lie about a set of trains that were used for a completely different purpose, again, never happened. Walmart's been converted into some sort of processing area. Literally did not happen under Obama. Etc., ad nauseum, etc. Sometimes misinterpreting incidents where Walmart said, hey, we have a location, you can use it as a shelter during a hurricane. That's not the same thing. Meanwhile, you have Donald Trump literally saying, eventually you won't have to vote. And now we have Republicans saying that it's okay to highly regulate their firearms more than ever in their states. And these are your politicians. These are your neighbors. I'm in a state that knocked the pins out from under me. I'm in Oregon. You can look up our laws. But they still have an exemption they won't talk about, and I can't get a confirmation via email because they don't want to talk about it. Maybe it's a good idea they don't talk about it. That muzzleloaders are excluded from their regulations. And still, technically, homemade firearms aren't regulated as long as you follow the rules the ATF wants, which is put a serial number on it. Any number. Or have it done. And yeah, Republicans are completely correct about the whole registering your data will make the government come after you, at least if you're a liberal. Some of you voted for this because you thought it wouldn't apply to you. You still believe it. Systems of control regularly violate those who voted for them in every other country. See also China and North Korea, where you can find really old people who voted for some things, but they're in a grave because they were inconvenient and they were the rebellious ones who got them in power. They didn't want them around when they had the power. Thanks for watching. Have a good day. Good luck with that. No matter what you believed and dreamed of, no matter what you fantasized about, you're next. Some of you fucked around and found out just recently. Bye.